everyone, this is Kathy and you're back here in my craft room and on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. So glad you're here today. This is part 2 of our little album, the quick and easy album that I'm going to show you how to make. On our last video we worked with the craft color and we built our album and our pages. So all of our pages are in. It was a very easy and simple process. We are not going to be working with the craft one today. I'm going to save this one for another project. What I want to make, I need a white one. So this is a white one. This is the one I showed you also. This was basically my inspiration. So what I did is I went through, I wanted to make sure that I kept my front prominent. So I wrote front on the front of it. How do I know the front? Because I wrapped the piece to the back when I glued the front and the back together. So I'll go back and look at the last video I did. If you didn't see that, you will see the construction of this only done in the craft. On this one, I had already put in one flap. And I'm going to show you again on how to do this. It's very simple. You'll cut your paper according to the directions, which are the flips and flaps is what I call them. The flap is the one that goes from right to left or left to right. These are 6 3/4 by 8 1/2, scored at a 1/2 inch on the 6 3/4 inch side. That means this side was up into the scoreboard and I scored it a 1/2 inch. Then we burnished it and all we done was laid it so that it was even with this page. Now I did cut off 1/8 inch off of this so that it would give me that little bit of extra room so that it would not impede the fold. Now I went through this one and made notes. I want a pocket here. I want a pocket there and a pocket here, and then I have my flap or my flip, and this is going to be a flap that's going to come down. That's why I put it like that. Then we're going to do a flap that's going to go this way, and we're going to put a pocket here, and we're going to do a full flap on this side and a half flap on this side. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. We're going to do a waterfall on this page, and we're going to do a flap on here that comes down. And then when we get back here, I think I might want to do maybe another pocket, maybe another little waterfall, so to speak. And then we're going to save this last page for a big picture, and we are going to do our closure. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now we are going to use some designer paper, and the pack that I've chosen, and I don't know that I'm going to have enough of this, so I'm going to be pulling from some other paper. This is the Candy Christmas by Stamperia, the Romantic Collection. This paper is so stinking cute. Look at this. How beautiful is that going to be on one of our pieces? I have cut some pieces. This is going to be our front inside, and I've got some other pieces here. We've got these little cutouts that we can do. Absolutely adorable. Look at this little gingerbread house. I have cut into this paper quite a bit because it's just so pretty. This is going to be our back. And yes, I did use craft on this because there's craft in this paper, and I think it's going to be beautiful. This is going to be our spine, and this is going to be our front. Isn't that gorgeous? I think this is going to be beautiful on the front, and we've got some other little ditties that we can put on the front of it. We still have some cut aparts, and look at those, they're so cute. And we still have some of this full sheets of paper like this, like that on the back. That would be gorgeous. So we're going to go through this and we're going to cut the pieces that we need. I also have a sheet that I've already cut out that is, I actually used my scanner cut. Let me pull that over and I'll show you what we got. I have a bunch of little cut aparts like this, little packages, Little snowman. Look how stinking cute. Look at that one. So we've got a lot of pieces to use to decorate with this one. So these pieces are just super adorable, and we have so many of them. So we are going to be able to get a lot of use out of those pieces. I've also already cut my waterfall, and we'll get to that when we get there. Let's go ahead and put everything back in, and I'm going to leave these out because there's some places we're going to need to go ahead and put some paper down before we can build some of our other pieces. And you'll see what I mean as we get to that. So I am going to get all of this back into my folder. I just stuck everything into one folder so I could kind of keep up with it. And I'll set it right down here so I can reach for it as I need it. Alright, the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and build the rest of my pages. So for here we're going to put this piece in, and this piece measures 6.5 by 9 inches, and it's scored at 1/4. Again, all of these measurements are going to be in the PDF file. I'd already put part of the file up on yesterday's video, so you can go over and check my blog out, and it is a clickable link where you can click to get the free PDF tutorial. So I always try to make sure that I leave things very simple. I was going to open that up all the way, but it won't open that way. So we're going to sit this down, making sure you don't impede that score line, but also getting it all the way to the bottom. And let's pull it to the edge a little bit more. Just like that. And that is taking care of that piece. Now where I made my pencil marks are all going to be covered, so I don't have to worry about that. So we have one that flips out, one that flips down. Turn our page. Now we're going to do a flap that's going to go out in that direction. And I think I'm going to do, let's see, I think I'm going to do this one. This one is 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 1/2. So let me go ahead and burnish this. And we're going to put our glue on it, and it's going to go right here. Again, just bring it to the edge of your paper, just like that. Get it nice and even. And then open it. Always take your bone folder and go back over your seams to make sure everything is, look how beautiful that is. And then this one goes this way. Now we're going to put a pocket right here. So let me grab my pocket. This piece is 6 by 4, and I scored it on 3 sides at 1/2 inch. So we're going to fold these in. So all 3 sides, we have that little bit of a, this is forming a gusset, is basically what this is doing. Now I want to get a little bit of that bulk out of the corner, so I'm going to miter my corners. So I'm going to cut to the edge and then cut up like that. Do the same thing over here. I'm going to cut up, and then I'm going to swing my scissors up and see how that does. This almost always gives you a perfectly mitered corner. So when I put pockets in, this is the way I like to do them. Now, we probably need to put our designer paper down before we glue this in, but I like to put my pocket to the bottom, and I like to put glue on it, and then come back here and put a piece of Scotch tape. That way you don't hit this when you're putting stuff in and out of it. So let's decide what we're going to put on this page. And I'm going to pull from my paper pack I think I'm going to do this one right here. And I want to put a piece of my crumb cake down first. So let's grab some crumb cake. Not crumb cake, but craft. Always have to move puppy dogs before I can move in my craft room. I'm sure some of you can relate. All right, we need this piece to be, this piece needs to be 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. 6 1/4. So these are going to be craft. And 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. And then the pattern paper is going to be 6 by 8. Make my notes as I go because I'm literally building this with y'all. So I wanted you to see the process, and I wanted you to see that you do not have to be intimidated by an album because they can be very, very simple. All right, I'm gonna bring my trimmer up now that I know I need this to be 6 1/4. So I'm going to line this up to 6 1/4. Give it a cut. And we know that it needs to be 8 1/4. And that's just a little smidgen off. And let's go ahead and cut this piece so we can finish that page. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this, and I need it to be 6 by 8. So 6. Beautiful, beautiful paper. And let's turn it this way. And this way. And get our 8. Oh, so pretty. That's going to get that hot air balloon. That's going to be gorgeous. And look how that pretty that's going to look on there. The color's gorgeous. And then when we put this down in the white, it's really going to pop. So let's set this out of our way. And now we know that this is going to go here. So what I'm going to do is, that's pretty too. It's also pretty. How do you decide? I'm going to go ahead and put glue all over the back of my piece. I may have to go and clean the tip on my glue gun if I'm going to continue using it. Let's just go with this for right now. I said last time I used it I was going to clean it, and I just haven't got to it. So I got to playing yesterday with some new dies that I have, and I really got sidetracked because I was going to do this video yesterday, and then I was going to edit it this morning. So I'm a little bit behind, but you know, things happen when you go in your craft room. You end up with little toys like this that you just can't help yourself. That was one of the things I played with. So much fun. I'll be bringing that to y'all soon because everyone needs a beautiful holiday dress, don't you agree? All right, this is going to go in right here. That is going to add so much stability to this album. So I am going to put glue all over the back of this. And I really like to make sure that I get glue all the way to the edge and enough through the middle. I don't want this to fall apart. Nobody wants to get an album and then have it start to come apart. So a good way to assure that doesn't happen is make sure you use a good brand of glue. I highly recommend the Art Glitter glue. It's my favorite. I'm going to get my big Cricut tool and I'm going to burnish that down really good. If you don't have one like this, you can always use your regular bone folder. Nothing in the world wrong with that. Just make sure that you're smoothing everything out and that everything is laying nice and flat. Alright, now we have this little pocket that we can put right here, but remember this piece? We can actually cover this, or we can do it with a little something different. I'll tell you what, let's just put the pocket on. We can always come back and revamp it. I'm going to use my 1-inch punch and I'm going to make a little half moon. Now I want to kind of eyeball center. So what I'm going to do is bring my centering ruler. This is the Tim Holtz ruler. And we are going to get it at the center, which is right there. And I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to put a dot. That'll let me know that I need to get this right into that center, like that. And now we have a nice little ditty right there in the middle. And that's so cute. So now all we're going to do is put glue. I'm going to do the bottom side first. I'm going to show you what I was talking about with the Scotch tape. Put glue on your bottom piece first. Fold your flaps out on the side and bring this down to exactly where you want it. Give it a good burnish. And then you're going to take a piece of Scotch tape and just run it across the bottom right here. What this does, it gives you a smooth surface. When you get ready to slide something into this, it's smooth. So now all we have to do is put glue on our tabs on the side. And then just fold them up. Again, I like to press this out using my bone folder. And now we have this cute little pocket, and we'll decorate that when we come back through. You always want to look and see if you've got things that you're going to put on your page, and then decorate your page first and then go back. Now this is going to be a full flap, so that is going to be this right here. So I am going to burnish this really well. And then we're going to take our glue something like that. Then just stand this up and put it right to the edge, top, bottom, and side. Open it up. Use your bone folder and give it a good burnish. Just like that. And if you have a little piece sticking up like that, you can very easily take your snips and just snip that. Probably what I should have done was mitered my corners, but that's okay. See, that got rid of that. No harm, no foul. Now here we're going to put a half a pocket, or not a half a pocket, but a half of a flap. So this is 4 by 8.5, and I scored it at a 1/2 inch. So let's go ahead and burnish this. And then put our glue on. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to lay this down nice and even. Open it, give it a good burnish, close it and burnish it again, and now we have a half flap. Now this is where we're going to do our waterfall, and we need a piece of craft that is 6 1/4. 6 1/4. This makes it so nice because you really only have a little bit to cut in one direction. This needs to be 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. So we're going to cut that off. And then we're going to take here, we're going to cut off 1/4 inch. So that's right there. And now we have it 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. Now we're going to put this right here, and this little piece is going to go right here. I have some pink and some blue. Oh, wrong color. That one is. This one's perfect. I'm going to glue this down toward the bottom. About like that. And we're going to leave that top exactly where it's at. See if I can get some glue on the back of this. And now we're going to put this down to the bottom. Let's go ahead and build our waterfall on here. And I'm going to show you what I used for my waterfall. This is the Maddie's Crafting Joy scalloped square waterfall flap. That's a mouthful. I will link this. This is such a cute die. So you cut your pieces like this for your waterfall. Then you have these beautiful little pieces to go over it like this. And you even have a flap that closes everything down. So stinking cute. So, and we also have a camera so we can show people, you need to put your pictures right here. So this is actually going to go right here. And then these are going to start up here at the top. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and mat everything first, and then we will glue everything down. Also cut some scallop. These are from Gina Marie, and these are called the Arch Stitched die set, and I used the next to the largest, that one right there, and I did 2 in pink and 2 in blue. I thought they would be really cute. And these I kind of mixed and matched. I'll get it out. So I have 2 blue and 2 pink, but I have 6 of these. So I need to do something a little bit different for the front of one of these. I'm really thinking I like the solid, so I may just carry through with my solid. So do I want the pink on the top? I think I do. Yep, I like the pink. So let's go ahead and put some glue on the back of this. And we are going to center this up on here. nice and straight. Give it a good rub. So let's see, let's do the center of this piece. That's my center. And this piece is 6 1/4. So 3 1/8 would be this is 4 1/2. So we basically need about 3/4 of an inch on both sides. Maybe 7/8 of an inch. Yep, 7/8 of an inch on both sides. So I'm going to take and put a little mark like that. I can always go back and erase those. I'm going to take some glue and put on this. And we'll have to do this for all of them. We just want to make sure that we're landing that very first one directly in the middle and all the way to the top. Okay, that was so easy. So now all we have to do is continue to build from here the rest of our waterfalls, and the next one will go directly under that one, and you'll just keep building until you've gotten all of your waterfall in. So I'll put these in, then we will do that. So I'll come right back, I'll cut 2 more of these, and we'll be ready to decorate this. I'll be right back. Okay, I wanted to come back and show you that I have gotten all of my waterfalls in. I still need to go back and die cut a pink one and a blue mat for this, so because it's going to be pink, blue, pink, blue, pink, blue, so we need another pink and a blue. So I want to go cut those, but look how beautiful, let's take the mats out, look how beautiful that waterfall fell. And I contribute that to taking the time to measure and make sure that you get it centered to start with, and then if you're very careful when you glue, you're butting these right up against the next one, the next one, the next one, and as long as you keep them straight, your waterfall won't look, you know, cattywampus. It'll be a beautiful waterfall and a great place to display a lot of really cute pictures. So let me go and cut. What we're going to be cutting is this piece right here, this piece here, and I do need to cut this piece, and I wanted to do it out of the designer paper. That was the reason that one had not been done. So I'm going to grab this little piece right here. I think I might try to get the little gingerbread man. Maybe something like that. That'd be really cute. So we'll cut that. Let me put one of my little post-it flags on it so it will stay where I want it. And I've got my blue and my pink right here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut one out of pink and one out of blue, and we'll meet right back up. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll just let y'all hang with me while I cut these. We'll close this all up, lay it to the side. I'll smooth some stuff out. I am going to put my pen back in my glue. One thing I like to do before I put my pen in, I like to try to make sure that the clump is not there. I kind of peel it off, and then when I put my pen in, I don't feel like I'm pushing a clump down in there. And I really need to clean this one out. You see how gunky it is? If you take a pokey tool or anything like that and go in here, you almost always will get a clump. Not so much today. I cleaned it the other day, so I wasn't expecting it to be horrible. Wipe that off. I've got plenty of glue in there. Sometimes if the glue gets too low, it's a little hard for the gun to squeeze it out. But that doesn't seem to be the problem. So I'm going to take that pen and I'm going to go in. Nothing feels like it's holding it back. So we'll see. We'll see if this will work when we come back or when we get ready to use this. So I'm going to pop that back in. Make sure it snaps in twice. Love, love, love my glue gun. Alright, I'm going to grab my die cut machine. And I do need to cut this. Tell you what, we're just going to use scissors, and we can always even this up later. I am going to cut straight across like that and up like this. Better known as harvesting your paper. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I'm going to lay it on. And I'm just going to cut straight up. And straight up here. And now we've got both of those pieces. Let's grab our plates. And I like to, anytime that I'm cutting a square, I like to turn it a little bit to an angle, and I'll show you why. Anytime you're going in on a straight, flat, line, it puts a lot of stress on your machine. But if you turn it just a little bit, it will take the stress off, and you won't get the loud popping, and it keeps your plates from curling. So we have the blue one. And now we need to do the pink one. A little bit of an angle. Cover it. And those are done. So I'm going to pull this out. Put it with the other ones. Put my die back where it belongs. And let's move this off of our desk, and then we will continue to put our waterfall together. So back to our waterfall. Alright, we have our waterfall completely in. Now we need to decorate right here. And I have some beautiful rub-ons that I purchased to go with this. And look at this. Is that not gorgeous? Any one of these would be so pretty on here. I love the little snowman. Okay. I can't take it. I have to do it. They are just too stinking cute. I love them. So what we're going to do, these rub-ons are so much fun. So what you do is you cut out the piece that you want. So I think I want this one, and I think I want Merry Christmas. So I'm going to harvest what I want by just going around it with my scissors. Should have got my little scissors for that, but this is fine. We can do it with the big ones. So you just kind of pick out the piece that you want, and then I'm going to try to turn this like this to give myself a nice flat surface. What you do is you take your piece and peel it off of the back, and you place it down where you want it. And I want this down to the bottom because I think I want the Merry Christmas up here at the top. I think. Yeah, I think that's what I want. So I'm going to lay this one to the side for a minute. We're going to work on the little snowman. Now what you need to put these down with is a popsicle stick. And I think I have one over here. And normally one comes in the thing, and I might have taken them out. And some of them just tell you to rub with a finger or a bone folder. The popsicle sticks work the best. So once you know you've got him on there like you want him, then just start rubbing. This is very reminiscent to the little tattoos. Remember in the Cracker Jack boxes you would get those little tattoos, and you'd wet them and put them on your arm or your hand and leave them for a few minutes and then peel it off. This is kind of like that, only you're rubbing this onto your paper. And you want to make sure you're really rubbing this down really good. You don't want any edges to, oops, I crumpled that a little bit. They're very forgiving. You can rub them back out, and when you get ready to peel off the front, you peel it back slowly, and if something is coming with the plastic, and what you do, you lay it back down and rub some more. Start like that, and if everything looks good, beautiful. I did miss one little tidbit right there. So I'll stick that back down and give that a rubby dub. And we got it. So now we're going to do the same thing with Merry Christmas. Just take that little back cover off. My fingers are all sticky with glue. I should have washed them before I did this, but y'all know how it is when you're in the craft room. You end up getting stuff everywhere, especially glue. Now look what I've done. I don't want that to stick there. I want this to stick right here. And see what I mean about the craft? The craft just goes with this beautifully, with the pinks and the blues and the whites. So the color coordination I thought was spot on. And I love the contrast between the soft gentleness of the blues and pink. Oops. Well, the blues and the pinks. I guess it's on there. When it starts coming up like that, it's pretty much there. There we go. So now those are on there. They feel very smooth, beautiful, and look at that. Oh, so pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the way that looks. So let's bring this over because I can't wait to put this page in my album. So all the way over to my waterfall page. By making notes on it, it makes it real easy, because now I knew that my WF was for my waterfall, and I can put that in just like that. Waterfall is done. So, we didn't do that. I gotta cut this, and I need to do my little latch. What did I do with my other piece for my latch? Dun, dun, dun. If I can't find it, I guess I'll have to recut it. But I thought I had it right here. I'm not seeing it. I know I cut it. Oh, it's the white one. Do I want to do that in white? That's so pretty. I'm definitely going to do it down here because I don't want to cover that all up. So I'm going to come all the way to there and put it. I think I want to do it in the craft. Let's take a little scrap of craft. And we are going to, I'm going to bring out my little die machine, and let's cut that and see. Let's go ahead and glue this in, and then we'll work on the rest of it. But I definitely need to get, I'm going to use this one. I'm definitely having glue issues today. Maybe I need to use some two-sided tape or a tape runner. Can always bring out Big Pink. Well, I guess that one's done, so I'm definitely not having a good glue day. I have used the complete roll of my tape runner. So, let's go to let's hope this is going to stick. Let's put this down right about here. Just like that. Give everything a good press. I'm going to turn this one over, and I am going to take my bone folder from this side and give that a good press. And I think we're good. I have got to find some glue. Here's the one I was looking for and could not find it. Do things like that happen to y'all? You know, it only happens on camera. It seems like it does anyway. Alright, so we have that flap is in and done. The only thing I need to do is maybe put some placeholders here. I may go back and put some designer paper, and I may not. And you always got a place here for something if you if you need to. Let's cut those pieces and see how that's going to come together for us. So I'm going to cut this with the craft. And this one with the little gingerbread man. And for that, I'm just going to grab my little blue. Need some plates for this. So I am going to lay this one in first and give it a push. And then we're going to put this one on. Put it in. Hello. Sorry about that. It was just my drugstore calling. All right, so we've got these cut. And let's see how this is going to look. I wanted to give myself some options. You know, I wanted to make sure that I was getting everything that I wanted. I can stick these back over here. And this on here. So I want to bring this over and I want to see if I like it better on the white or the beige. Oh, and I cut him upside down. Oh well. Or do I want to do this in solid? Let's see. That's backwards. Decisions, y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna try it from a piece like this. I'm going to go off camera for a minute and get my desk a little more organized. I'm going to put some glue in here, work on my glue gun, and I'll be right back. It'll be a few minutes for me, but just a second for you. Okay, I am back. I have cleaned up my desk a little bit. I have more room to work, and I realized that I do like this piece better. I recut another strip that has the pink and the blue, but then I realized I really needed to put it under here. So my trusty little spatula, if you don't have one of these, you don't have to own a Cricut to buy these. You can get the whole little set of tools. It comes with a scoring tool, a little pick like this, which I use all the time, a little scoring tool that looks like this, and I think it might even be a pair of scissors. They usually come in a pack, and anywhere that they have Cricut products you can usually find these. These tools right here are life changers. Oops. Especially when you throw them around your craft room. But anyway, this spatula works great. So what I did is I ran it under here just enough to lift that. Now I can take this piece and put it, let me lay that over there. I can put this piece right up under here, put some glue on it, get it where I want it, and glue that down, and it's right where I need it. We also need to install a magnet, because we need a magnet on this that's going to hold it. So let me grab my magnets. Get my little Cricut tools back where they belong and grab my box of magnets. And I have several different kinds of magnets. I have these that are a little thicker. I have these that are much thinner, but they're bigger. And you know what? If one of these will work, I may use one of these because they already have adhesive on them. They're much flatter than, I don't know if that's going to hide under there. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and get this glued in first. Oop. These magnets have a mind of their own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue right here on that little tab. And then I'm going to try sliding it up under there and get it positioned where I want it. And to give it a little press. Now, let's see if that will work there. And if we can, I'm almost afraid to mess with this because I don't want to mess up all of my work that I've done. So these are glued down pretty tight. Did y'all see that? I think I did it. Like I said, this tool right here is wonderful. So let's see if we can get one of these magnets. These magnets do not want to cooperate. They are, see, that's a negative, so I need a positive. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to take this one and glue it right here. And then I want to take this one. Yeah, they're going to go like that. So this one needs to go peel that off, and your sticky is right here. So I am going to go right in there, and I'm going to take this spatula and I'm going to push that magnet up in there like that. And then I'm going to take this one and we'll put it right here, and we will put another closure over that. But let's go like that. Oh, that's up too high. Probably needed to do the smaller ones. Let's see. Let's see if we can do a smaller one. That'll work. I'm just going to use one of those, and I'm going to leave the big one in there because I don't want to mess with it. So all I have to do now is put a glue dot on that, and then we can get that one where it needs to be. So I'm going to lay it right down onto my glue dot, just like that, and slide it off. Let it fall where it may. think I can do it like that and use this to cover it. Let's see if that's going to work. Yep, that is going to work. I'm so happy. I was worried about the magnet because I wasn't thinking about it when I was, putting this together. So always think about your magnet if you possibly can. So I'm going to lay that right there. Get that centered. Glue it. And I'm going to press this down. And now our waterfall is in, and we are done with that portion of it, except coming back and we will need to come back and I need to get a little bit more glue right there. Just to seal that down. Just want to make sure that seals up in there. And that looks good, and it is holding. So, say hoorah. We got that done. All right. Let's see what else we need to do. What's next is another flap, and this one's going to go right here. And we can make this. So let's go ahead and glue this in here, and then we'll be to our last page. And I think all we're going to do there is maybe a little decoration. I don't know, I might do a flap hit this way. Yeah, we've got we'll do one more. But when you get the build of your album done, you are free to put in flips, flaps, folds, pockets, waterfalls, whatever you want to adhere into your album to make it yours. So always know that you can decorate this however you want to. I'll tell you what, let's do a little bit of fun stuff. Let's go ahead and do our front and back and spine. I think that'll be fun to do. Okay, this is going to be our front inside. That's going to go right there. So pretty. I made notes on it so that I know where I was putting things. Here goes my testy little gun again. It's just not wanting to put out any glue, and I think I'm going to have to just take the whole tip of it to the sink and clean it. So this is not the same shade of pink. Huh. It's okay. I'm going with it. I think it's pretty. So get this on as nice and even as you can. Give it a press. Now you're ready to put this. Said I was going to do a pocket there. And a pocket here. Let's see. I'm not going to put that in yet. I'm going to do the front. I know this was going to be the front. So actually, I'm not sure. I don't want this for the front. I'm going to go with my first inclination. Remember, all of your mats are going to be 6 1/4 by 8 1/4, and then your piece of decorative paper is going to be 6 by 8. Nice, easy measurements. Nothing that will trip you up or cause you headaches. We don't want headaches. We just want a beautiful album, something you'd be proud to display or give away. So this is going to go right here on the front. So pretty. I'm going to lay that down and just give it a good press in the back. And now that's ready to go on. And me and my glue problems today. Goodness. Let's see if one of these smaller bottles will work without giving me so much grief. Let's see how this one works. Much better. Okay, now we're going to lay this down. Paying special attentions to our border. Gluey fingers. I'm going to clean tips on my glue on my next break. Alright, that's going to be our front. Let's do our spine. And the spine is 2 1/2 by 8 1/4, and then of course this one is 2 1/4 by 8. So we're going to center that on like that. And get that centered in, like so. Oops. And that's going to go like that. We have this for the back. Let's put this on and then we'll decide. Again, we're going to go in with some glue. And get this on. I really want the crumb cake to go all the way around from front to back, so I'm probably not going to use that one. Give that a press. And now, this is what I had chosen for the back. But now, do I want that for the back? I think so, because it's a little plain, and I think that will work. You don't want to use your prettiest paper on your back. Okay, so let's go ahead and put glue. These are gorgeous, aren't they? So pretty. I love that. I almost hate to cover it up. Before I glue my back cover, I need to look at my closure and see exactly what we're going to do with it. I have a closure piece that I made. Oops. Let's give this a good press. And that can go, oops, that still didn't go down, did it? Put a little bit of glue right here in this corner and let it squish out just a little bit. There we go. All right, let's look at our closure. My closure is 5 1/4 by 8 1/2, but I think it needs to be, yeah, 8 1/2. And I scored it at 1/2 at 3 1/4, and that leaves us a 2-inch flap. So I'm going to go ahead and fold these. I'm going to burnish. And fold this one and burnish. Now this side here is going to be what attaches to our back. Now the question is, do I want it to attach to the back like that, and to the front like this? That's going to give us lots of room to expand our album. So you can see how the closure is going to go in like this. And we can add, I'm just not sure I need quite that much on here. I'm thinking I might cut this to here and then score it again. That may be plenty. So let's try it. You can always cut another piece. It's just white cardstock. So I'm going to cut just past that score line. So that's going to be at 4 5/8. And then we're going to score it at 1/4 inch. Nope, a 1/2 inch. And let's see what we have now. I think this will give us a much neater closure without it being, yeah, I think I like that one better. So that works, and we'll revamp the closure. And it's going to be 4 5/8 by 8 1/2. Score at 1/2 and 2 5/8. That's going to be a little bit different than what we normally would do, but I think I like that because that's going to give us that little extra. I think I want to put the piece that we had. Let's see. All right, I am going to do this to the back, so I'm going to glue this tab. Let's burnish it down really good. I'm going to put glue on the inside of this. So right in here. And then I'm just going to lay this into that glue and measure it, make sure it's fitting in there perfectly. And I'm going to burnish it down nice and tight. Now we can decorate the back. I wanted to get that in before I did anything to the back of it. And I think this piece is going to go right here. I gotta stop going for that glue gun. You know, old habits die hard. This little glue bottle right here is actually working for me. Oop, don't want to put it in upside down, do we? No, no, no. Get that in, making sure that no score lines are being impeded. That's good, and that's good. Now let's do our back. And this is going to go right here, like that. Our little album is starting to come together, and I am loving it. I think this is going to be such a cute album once we get everything decorated. Okay, now I want to reinforce by working on my closure, front and back. And remember, we're going to do some magnets. I want to put 2 magnets on this to hold it together. So I want to cut a piece of blue that is one 3/4 by 8 1/4. 1 3/4. By 8 1/4. And I think I'm going to do a pink one the same way. I'm going to put this in at 1 3/4 by 8 1/4. And that's going to be for our outside pieces. Let's turn it around. I want to make sure I'm getting the right color where I want it. I want blue or I want pink on the outside. I think I want the blue. Yep, I want the blue there. And we'll do the pink on the inside. I need to hide that glue gun until I get it working. So the pink is going to go on my inside. Magnets. I am going to do 1, 2, I think I'm going to do 3 since these are little. And I'm just going to put them right in here, right there. And one right here. Now let's see if we can glue this down. I cut that one too short. I might have to grab some more cardstock. I've been plagued with gnats, and there's one in my craft room of all places. But we have put traps out and I've caught quite a few, so I'm hoping it was just a change. I think where they came from, we bought mums and I brought them in the house when I first got them. Big mistake. Big mistake. Okay. So this to be here, and I'm going to use this. It's going to be on the outside. I think it's going to be okay. We'll just have a little bit bigger border, which I'm not mad about that. That'll work. What I could do is put down a crumb cake behind it, and that would work perfectly. So let's do a crumb cake that is ruler. One and 7/8 by 1 7/8 by 8 5/8. Eight and 3/8. I'm sorry. I need something what's right there. By 1 and 7/8. And then that can go right here, like so. And my blue strip will fit like this. And I think I like that better anyway, because now everything is cohesive across the front. So we'll put these two together. Let's get my trimmer off of the desk. Move these scraps out of my way. This is my piece. Oh my goodness. I'm still not satisfied with that. I think I'm going to stop for today, and I'm going to do a little bit more planning for part 3, and then we will, I'll come back and I'll have all of my pages cut and ready to go in, our flaps and folds and what have you. But I think we got a lot done today. We got all the pages and flips and flaps in. We built a beautiful waterfall. We installed some magnets. We got our front and back covers on. And let's see, this needs to go here. And we put our closure in, and now we just need to figure out what else we're going to do with this. This is going to be such a beautiful book once it's finished, and I think anybody would love to put their Christmas pictures in a book that's this glorious. And we have room here. We could cut some numbers and put 2025, which would be great. We can put a nice big Merry Christmas across here, maybe with some more clouds. And we're going to do something special with the closure as well. So let me do some planning. We'll come back and we'll finish up part 3 in our next video. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll have the measurements for what I've done thus far up on my blog when this posts. And y'all have a wonderful day. God bless you and keep you. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you like what you've seen thus far, I don't just do albums, I do cards, I do 3D boxes and what have you. If you caught my recent video with this beautiful treat box, I've also done lots of post-it note holders that actually flip up and down. My design, and I've worked with a lot of beautiful dies like this, creating some what I hope you think are beautiful designs. And so join me. I would love to have you here on my crafting journey. Thank you again so much for supporting my channel, for liking my videos. Be sure to give me that little thumbs up. That lets people know that you like what you saw, and they'll push my video out there for more people to see. As I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say, every word and every action, let it bring honor to our Savior Jesus. He is so worthy. So until we craft again, God bless and keep you. And bye-bye.